When the SailGP show rolled into town in San Francisco for the Season 3 finale, there was one key question being asked. Who was going to join the Australians and the Kiwis in the $1 million final? Barring any boat-breaking dramas, the two Southern Hemisphere teams had clocked up enough points to secure their position in the Season 3 showdown already. So would it be the British or the French? The pair were separated by just 1 point. French skipper Quentin Delapierre and his team had been on a roll in the second half of the season, while Ainslie had yet to win an event in Season 3. Their last was in Bermuda in Season 2. But anyone who's watched Ainslie's performance at crucial times in other classes would not have been surprised to see what happened next. The start was a perfect illustration as to what was on Ainslie's mind. Being behind the fleet at the start didn't matter, so long as the Brits were ahead of the French. When the gun went, they were. With a place in the final at stake, both skippers knew they were likely to lock horns.
To be honest, I was expecting this kind of move from them. I think they trust a lot their skills and their maneuvers, and they are just 1 point behind us. So, I was surprised that it was directly from the first race.
It's obvious that getting a good start is crucial, especially now the fleet has grown to 9 teams. Getting buried in the pack is all too easy. Success at this level is also about not making mistakes. As the French tripped up, Ainslie and co were working their way up the fleet.
We obviously had a game plan with the French, and that worked off the start line. We had some quite fun starts actually, but we managed to get off the line ahead, and the team just did a great job sailing the boat around the course fast.
And as the Australians took the first win, the British took second.
Slower, but less distance, or you said 3, 2, 1. Perfect start there. Ainslie on board Great Britain out the middle of the...
Both France and Great Britain were bang on the money.
Yeah, it was great. We really sort of took it to the French in the starts. The first two anyway, and managed to execute really well and get the start we wanted to do.
By the bottom gate, Ainslie had taken the lead and never gave it back.
With one more race to go, they are looking fantastic on the first day of sailing here at the Mubadala SailGP Season 3 Grand Final, San Francisco. Race number 2 goes the way of the Brits.
Once again, the British strategy was to cover the French from the start. Tick. And then to work their way through the fleet. Tick.
I guess obviously that was our game plan going into it. We felt like our boat handling generally is quite good, so if we're in a bit of a street fight, then we, more often than not, we should be okay. And we wanted to put a bit of pressure on France, because we've seen if they can get a good start and get away, they can sail the boat really well and they can win races easily. So it felt like the right thing was to try and put some pressure on them, and that's how it worked out. Most of the time manoeuvres were really going well for us. First race, a few sticky ones, but yeah, just really pleased with the way the team came together through a challenging day, and trying to get some more tomorrow and get ourselves into that grand final. That's the plan.
Another second place. Day 1, job done. Meanwhile, Tom Slingsby's Australian team was sailing off the front once again.
Yeah, we're stoked with today. Obviously it doesn't really mean too much heading into tomorrow, but more importantly than points and any of that is we've got our confidence. We feel like we're sailing as well as we can, really. And that's important because, yeah, a lot of the second half of this year we haven't really sailed that well. We've gotten good results and got seconds and thirds and fourths, but we just haven't really been sailing at our potential, and it feels like we're coming good at the end of the season and a great first day, and we're as confident as we can be heading into a one-off winner-takes-all $1 million race.
Yeah, we're excited to get into it. You know, we've kind of done, I suppose, what we needed to for the bigger picture today, but yeah, definitely a little bit disappointed with the results today, but it's something that, you know, as a team we'll go back and review, and it's a good chance to learn and, you know, get ready for the final.
But while the Australians were still the overall favourites, there was a sense that it might be time to change bets for the final.
We're up against Peter Burling and Ben Ainslie, arguably a couple of the best sailors of all time. And so for me to sit here and say, oh, if it's shifty, I'm going to kill him, it's not true. It could go any way. Sometimes you feel like you're in sync in the shifts and the puffs and you can get away, but then other times you can just be made to look stupid. So, yeah, look, I don't really mind what the conditions are. Light winds, heavy winds, wavy, flat. We've just got to focus on ourselves and do our job.
Keeping the British noses clean was now the order of the day. But this is a fiercely competitive fleet that is sailing closer than ever, and playing it safe is simply no longer an option. Ainslie's warnings about letting the French get a sniff of the front of the fleet was borne out in the first race of day 2. The French rounded the first leeward gate in 5th, but well in contention. And on a racecourse that was proving to be quite puffy and tricky, they were sniffing out the best bits.
Locking back in here. Pressing. Keep going. Pressing till we get up. Stand by. Easy, my crew. Okay. Where's the mark? Stand by.
Getting in phase with the shift saw them climb to 3rd.
Turning.
Before taking the lead just before the final mark. On overall points, it still didn't get them to the final, but it was clear that Delapierre's team hadn't given up. Race 5, the penultimate of Season 3, Last Chance Saloon. And a reminder as to how quickly things can change. At the bottom gate, the Australians failed to see the right-of-way Brits. Yet, despite getting a penalty and being stuck in the pack, Slingsby went on to win the race.
Rolling up in it. Yeah, I got him. This is good. Okay, coming down here. Pressing. Building. Build. Good gust down to this next one. Top one like that. Copy, thank you. Yep, down. And my right. I want to get the hood. Pass, please.
Further back in 5th, the Brits stayed in front of the French to secure their place for the $1 million race. Australia, New Zealand, Great Britain. The 3-boat final was set. There are few people in the racing scene that get to give Ainslie a bloody nose at the start. But with seconds to go, Slingsby did just that. Fair and square, right on the hooter, forcing the Brits as windward boat to keep clear.
Point one, racing.
As the Australians and Kiwis stole a march on the Brits, it would have been easy to jump to conclusions. But Ainslie looked like he was having none of it, at least not to start with. But once again, the Australians had pulled out an advantage out of nowhere to take the lead at the first leeward gate.
Yeah, copy. 12. Same in time. Happy to go on about 3. I'm happy any time, mate. 2, 1, put down. Sharp turn.
On the second lap, little had changed.
Got a bit of pressure at the moment. Yeah, we need some margin on the front. Short. 2, 1.
It wasn't quite clicking for us today like it was yesterday. Yeah, final 2 fleet races as well. We just couldn't quite get through, struggled a little bit. And yeah, that final champion race, yeah, wasn't our finest race. So frustrated with that, but you know, the team's come a long way this season.
Hey, gust on here in 3, 2, 1.
Conditions from then on were patchy, concertinaing the fleet, expanding and contracting expectations.
Pressing hard, touch. Fastening up with him. Pressing hard, pressing hard.
But the biggest challenge to Australian domination came on the approach to the final mark, when the gap narrowed to just 18 metres.
Yeah, it's quite building. Brothers off. Right now. Coming down hard.
Somehow the Australians pulled it off and took a third consecutive season win. Even they were surprised.
So close to the finish, and when we're in that position, but I was thinking, I can't believe you're going to lose it from here, and I can't believe I'm going to choke like this in front of all these people, everyone watching around the world. That actually went through my head. We had such a comfortable lead, and then I decided that I wanted to sort of shut the race down a bit and do extra manoeuvres to make sure they don't get different wind, and in the end they didn't really get different wind, but they were tacking in better positions, and they were able to foil out of the tacks a bit better than we were. We were tacking in less wind, and they just kept gaining, and fortunately we did the tack just enough room in the last move, and were able to hold on to the finish.
Yeah, well, as a team we're obviously gutted to walk away with the second, but I think we can be incredibly proud of the performance we put together. We got a really good start, got so close to getting over the top, and then got pretty unlucky on the shifts up the first speed. It was about the first time that right hand side at the bottom hadn't worked, but everyone dug deep, keep fighting, and we got ourselves right back in there at the end. So gutted to not be able to be that half a metre or whatever it was further forward to get that overlap on the inside of the end, but you got to hand it to the Aussies. They've been sailing well all weekend.
Certainly hats off to Australia to get a three-peat. That's an amazing achievement, so huge congrats to Tommy and his Australian team. Good on them.
Good on them indeed. Keeping the upper hand in SailGP, where all your secrets are shared with the fleet, is seriously impressive. Yet the confidence in this team stands out a mile. The change in Slingsby is also very noticeable. A self-declared hothead, he keeps showing that he can deliver under pressure. So while he's the first to say it was a team effort, and of course it was, it does start to make you think about his other job, the America's Cup, and his role with American Magic. He sails alongside his former laser rival Paul Goodison. Both have Olympic gold medals, they come from a similar background, and if what I'm hearing is correct, there's a good buzz in the camp right now, and it's easy to see why. In the meantime, the Australians have pulled off a hat-trick in the most extreme foiling event of them all, against the best in the world. A staggering achievement.